There's scenes here at Perry Park.
Chris Lynn has taken the wild thing and sent him.
Oh, Bateman! Bateman! Yes!
And welcome back to the Beyond the Sidelines podcast. We are back in video form as a full collective at the full contingent in these tangerine tinted walls.
Tangerine, wow.
Yeah, I thought I'd go for something different. How are we, boys? Joined with me as always, Finn Morton to my left, and directly across from me is Mr. Angus Bryan. How are we, gentlemen?
Good.
Mate,
Keeping busy?
You have a way with words.
Yeah.
I have been known as a poet.
It is simply marvelous.
A poet.
Shakespeare. Oh.
Shakespeare. I know. I do whip out
Can
a
you
little bit
rattle
here
off
and
a
there.
little bit of Shakespeare right now?
Tomorrow.
Oh,
Creeps
okay.
in this petty pace from day to day. I'm not going to go anymore. I did drama in year 12. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Oh, wow. You are such a private school boy, aren't you?
So are you, mate. Did you do drama?
You were doing
I
drama.
don't know. I dropped it after year 8.
After you
so-
stopped playing Zip Zap Boying and,
Pretty
theatre
much.
games and whatnot.
Yeah, you know what? I got sick of the games. I thought they were a little bit childish.
Yeah, well, they stop after then, so
As
leave it
a
alone.
13-year-old?
You with the academic you are.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I was, I thought I was a little bit too adult for those.
Yeah, and
I wasn't.
you've
I was-
been going downhill since?
No, I was just disruptive, so
Fair enough.
I didn't get good grades. So
Surely
kinda-
being disruptive would be a good thing in drama. Being
Not at all.
energetic
be able to
and
express yourself a little bit.
express yourself.
Being in drama is all the way through senior, not a good thing.
but being dramatic. That's the premise of the subject.
Yeah, but being
CJ.
distracting is not dramatic. They're different things.
It can be.
But I mean, what
Bad acting can be.
what
distracting.
career?
That's
is it-
exactly my type of acting. Pal.
Pretty much.
There's really only the one career that you can go into is acting. Like, what else is drama for?
Directing.
Delivery of content, like that excellent monologue you just saw at the start of
Yeah,
this.
okay, I guess.
One take wonder. Did not take one before that.
Would you call that
so-
a monologue, mate? Because when
I
I
would
cast,
say so.
when I cast
It's not
my,
quite SNL monologue.
when
but
I cast my mind back to monologues, I remember Gusman standing in English class, having to kit up,
Yep.
bring in props, and
why'd you kid up?
recite Shakespeare.
Shakespeare?
Because we had to, mate.
Yeah.
You wore like a cape and
No,
I
stuff.
wore a
we
dress.
had
We
to.
had to.
No, I'm serious. It was
You
part
didn't
of
have
the.
to. You just went.
No, we. Yeah, I was like,
it
finally.
helps me get into the role.
No, it was
Method acting.
I think,
You
it
are.
was,
Method
I think it
acting.
was helpful. I was Ophelia, which is
Oh.
yeah. So she's the I think
Wait,
is
so
she the chick who goes crazy or something?
Did you
in,
choose to be a female? Which is fine.
No,
Completely
no.
fine.
I mean,
See,
most of the options were female.
The cheerleading
that's cool.
the cheerleading outfit's starting to make
Starting
a lot
to
of
add
sense.
up a little bit. But
But
boys, we're
no,
getting off topic.
I just thought.
No, we're getting off topic. I'm
just
not going to
saying-
let you make your case. We're getting off topic.
I'm just saying I chose to be Ophelia because I thought I'd be able to act crazy.
Well, no.
So,
Yeah, well,
So-
mate, you could do that. You
Mate,
don't
we-
have to act, pal.
We have to just elaborate on exactly what I just said, Faithful.
Yes.
So basically, when Campbell turned 20,
Mm.
the big 2-0, mate.
Big 2-0.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was
That's at
4
least-
months ago, 5 months ago.
that's at least a fifth of your life done.
Thanks for
That-
putting it into a
Jeez.
bleak
That's-
perspective and
that's
really bring in
That's even if you live to 100.
the
so-
futility of the human condition.
Anyway,
Continue.
basically, months before that, actually, we were planning
Yes.
on doing something for charity involving this very studio where we would sit in here for 24 hours. But after only about 8 episodes, personally, I decided maybe not the best idea.
So it was when we were about 8 episodes in.
Exactly. But Campbell and I convinced Gusman.
Well, we went into Spotlight.
Okay, do you want-
Sorry,
do
yeah.
you
we
want to tell the story? Okay.
Well, I'll just, because you're missing a key part of this.
I was just getting into it, mate.
You see these orange walls? We were looking for something to cover them because they are that atrocious. So this is terrible listening for anyone on Spotify. But if you're on Spotify, go
They're
to
very,
YouTube, go
they're
to
very
Facebook.
orange. Very
They're
orange.
very orange. We were
Hideously
looking
orange.
for a black bit of cloth to cover it up. So we go, you know what? Let's go to the Indrapilli Spotlight. We go there and we're looking around. Now I'll continue.
You sure?
Yeah, go.
Basically, as we're walking through Spotlight, I say to Angus, mate, there's a nurse's outfit. You should wear that to this charity thing. Sit in. And he goes, I
Tasteful
don't
attire.
want to wear that. Actually, I'll wear the cheerleading outfit instead. And he voluntarily bought it. Now, I really can't sell this enough, Faithful. I did not have to convince him.
No, I might actually chuck up a video
Yeah, we
on the
should.
screen, which should be right about, there. Should be there. I'm going to try and put it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Test my editing skills out.
Is that me of purchasing
That's
said
you.
item?
It's either you purchasing the item.
No, it was you
Or-
monologuing afterwards.
I'm not going to put that one in. I'm going to put the one. Actually, you'll see it when it comes out, Faithful. I'm either putting that. There is either about to be a monologue or a photo,
by
a
now-
video of Gus
Okay.
walking out of my
look,
bathroom
Exactly. By now, that
in full regalia,
that's
or
what-
in the Powerhouse car park with it on.
Look,
Yeah.
that's what I was getting to. A few months later, when Campbell did turn 20, we convinced Angus that CJ's birthday event at
Yeah,
the
soiree.
soiree at the
One
Lawn
might
Bowls
say.
clubs was a fancy dress-up party, whatever.
You know, as you do.
As you
Yeah,
do.
standard.
And the running joke for months at this point was the fact that I was going as a Teletubby and CJ himself was going as a
Hot dog.
hot dog. Two outfits that would require being in a bag and would have to slip on at the last minute due to the extreme heat and temperatures.
This is January.
We see
January
in
17th,
Brisbane.
if any of the listeners and the faithful want to get me a present.
No one. It's a bit late now, faithful.
I've got another birthday coming up. And
Yeah.
according to Gus, I only have 5 more 20 years left.
5
according to
more
this.
20 years, yeah.
But
Yeah.
basically, now this is Gus voluntarily, again in this situation, at Campbell's house, dressed up in said cheerleading outfit. And mate, it was absolutely hysterical, CJ.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant. But, boys, I think since we took this story, I think we only have time for one news story. And it's probably one of my favourites that I've seen this week. It's probably one of the more funny.
See, this
things.
is debatable. See, Gusman, this is just this is someone exerting his power as the host of the show because we have
Maybe I want to talk about something
exactly
else.
currently
Well,
on
tough
this
luck.
on this Google Drive
Yes.
document that I have sitting in front of me. Spoiler alert: it's
So-
not all improv. Most of it
Yeah.
is.
Most of it is.
Oh,
Wait,
Oh.
wait. Most of it is.
We
Yes,
do-
sorry.
wait, I forgot. I lost my spot.
Wait,
There
line.
is a there is a smidge of critical thinking in there.
No,
just a
but,
smidge.
but
Yeah.
basically, we have 3 topics listed on this web page. Basically, one of each that represents our favourite sports or favourite stories from the week that was. Gusman's being Bronson Cherry, of course, being caught illegally doping in the NRL. He's been provisionally suspended
He has.
by the NRL. Mine, the Western Force, they've been selected in Vodafone Super Rugby AU, but no
Which
CJ.
I love that.
Well, I'd love to talk about it, but
Hey,
CJ,
mate.
no.
Hey,
no,
hey.
I'm making a point.
No, I'm making a point. Time is money. I edit the podcast. I make the calls here.
Okay.
I am the captain now.
Let's talk about Gary Maley, mate.
Yeah, let's talk about Gary Maley. So, a Scottish, a Scottish,
Scottish.
Scottish Premiership team is deciding the future of their goalkeeper via a Twitter poll. Have you ever seen anything like this? Faithful, have you seen anything like
but
this?
I'm-
Boys, have you seen anything
I'm
like this?
not
Don't address
surprised.
them directly like that, mate.
Honestly,
It's rhetorical.
I'm not surprised. It's Scotland. There's weird stuff
we go.
going on in the
Scotland.
Scottish Premiership.
You're a bagpipes player.
Exactly.
Yeah, I am, but
You've been
I've-
there. You've been to Edinburgh.
I have, and I actually went to Celtic.
Have you gone to a Celtic game?
Yeah, Celtic
Old
game.
Firm or no?
No.
Jeez, imagine that's bucket
new,
list, man.
New Firm.
Yeah, but
No, but Old Firm is definitely
That is
bucket
well,
list.
I mean, it's definitely full on. The atmosphere is pretty crazy for Scottish Premiership games.
Can imagine.
But
it's
yeah.
it's seen as the Premier League's little brother, I guess.
It is.
100%,
So,
a little bit,
but
so-
you
yeah.
always you look at Celtic and they're constantly dominant
Oh.
in the Scottish Premier League.
Yeah.
To the point where haven't they gone 8 years? I
Yeah,
think it's 8
Rogers had
years.
like an insane run there as well.
They
No,
won this
no.
year because of a
No,
cancellation.
but I mean, I
as
think
well,
they're
so.
I think they're champions 8 years in a row. I
Hmm.
think that's what I read last week. Something like that. Something insane. But basically, it's always been said Scotland need to take that next step and really. Do they need to merge with the rest
that's always
of the
been
EPL?
cool. But I think, what do you think? Firstly, what do you think about that? Do you think they need to merge
I
with
think,
the EPL? But then, well, with
If
the
it-
English system, so do they start in League 2, League 1?
I don't know. I don't think they will move. Well, they'll be. They've already got tons of teams in the English Premiership. Like how, like
Well, they'd just be
it's-
in the football
whether,
division.
Whether
The
you might
footballing
bring
leagues.
over maybe 1 or 2 teams from the Scot, like they do with like Middlesbrough, isn't it? And they're in Wales.
Hmm.
Why don't they bring over Celtic or Rangers or someone like
What-
that rather than the whole league?
No, not the whole league.
Yeah,
Just
weren't
Celtic.
you saying that you'd bring the whole league over?
No.
And,
Well, I think
okay.
you'd have
Never
to
say
be
that.
honest.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think if Celtic are going across,
Hmm.
then the same opportunity has to be presented to the other teams. Siege.
I don't think
So-
it
The
does.
other teams aren't the quality that Celtic.
Like,
They
it-
would get.
They would
thumped
get
in the
thumped.
English.
I
system.
agree, but then that's their incentive to improve. Anyway, but basically,
Okay, this is a
a
story.
model.
I'm gonna put it on the. I'm gonna put it in the video. It's gonna
Editing?
be
More
around
editing?
here. More editing.
Oh.
This is an editing frenzy. This is my worst nightmare. But I'm gonna read out to this to you boys as well. Okay, so Livingston FC official Twitter page, verified, posted this. They said, quite possibly a football first, but we're giving you the chance to decide on the future of goalkeeper Gary Maley, or at Maley1 Gary.
What a
With his
horrible
contract,
club.
with his contract expiring next month, we're leaving it in the hands of the fans as to whether or not we offer stretch and extension. Stay or go, you decide. And the two options are yes, offer a contract, or no, get him out.
Wow.
Is this the future of football?
Is he allowed to vote?
Yeah, he goes, no.
He's making fake accounts. Oh my God.
Well, no, seriously.
The real Gary
Yeah.
Maley.
Or his mum's just like a real like troublemaker or loves stirring the pot and is like sending videos of her like clicking no.
So what's the...
Burning Gary Maley.
I'm sorry, so what's the... Who has access to this? Is it just the fans? Or
Everyone. Anyone on Twitter can vote on this.
Surely an opposition team can just go, no, get
We
rid
want
of him.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that, like his mum's going, "You were never as good as your brother, son." No.
No.
God, I think that's horrible.
Look, I think this is more of a gimmick than an actual decision, because I imagine if they're actually putting this vote out, I imagine he's quite a beloved player within the team. Of course,
you've got to have a certain confidence.
I'm not very familiar with the prowess of Gary Maley and his standing within Scottish football.
Or
he's the
Livingston
goalkeeper.
FC.
He's a goalkeeper. Usually, the goalkeepers are sort of the spirit of the team. You look at Bon Scott for the strikers. So maybe he's the what's the team called?
Livingston FC.
Livingston's Bon Scott. I guess.
Could be Gary Maley. There's
Maybe.
only one Gary Maley. Hero of the show, friend of the show,
Hero.
Gary Maley.
Get him on.
Get in
Get him on the
contact with
podcast.
us, Gary. We'll get you on. But boys, let's head into the meat and the potatoes of this episode. On the back of The Last Dance, we've all been avid viewers of it.
Yeah.
We've really enjoyed it. We're talking GOATs. Big week for GOATs. You know, Last Dance finished up.
Well, no, it's Last Dance, of course. Great documentary. CJ, the question I proposed to you off air, mate, was,
Yes.
is that the greatest of all time? Sports documentary.
Is it the GOAT documentary about a
Oh,
GOAT?
it's a very good goat documentary, honestly. I loved it. I could not stop watching the thing. I wish it went on for another.
Yeah.
Bloody,
It's
why
very
couldn't
good.
Michael Jordan win another 6? Honestly, because
That would be insane. No, I think it's very good. But I think, personally, I prefer Last Chance U.
It's more of reality TV, though,
I don't
mate.
think it is, but it is literally them documenting a season.
Well, are you talking about like similar to All or Nothing? Because
What's All or Nothing?
it's like
Or
a,
Subtle Until I Die.
Yeah,
Come
it's like that, but
Have
they
you not
do it
watched Last
for-
Chance U?
I don't think.
Watch it,
I don't
dude.
think I have.
Very good.
It's- yeah,
I've
very
been
good.
watching All or Nothing, which they follow NFL teams for a season.
Oh, that's
So
like
they've-
Hard Knocks.
Oh,
Yeah,
actually,
so they've
Hard Knocks
done.
is really
they
good.
did the All Blacks.
They've done. Yeah,
And
they've done the All Blacks.
I'm in
so-
it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm in the background of one of their scenes.
Oh wow.
Oh, my.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you want to check it out, Finn will be in there.
Yeah, I'm in the background of my blazer.
Have you got that
I'm
as a
very
credit on
blessed.
your
Oh, that's
IMDb
when
or
they
something?
came training
Yeah,
at the BBC.
because I remember-
Wow.
I'm in a Wallabies one when they used to train, when they came and trained at
Let's talk about you now.
at Nudgy. No, I'm just relating. You know,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
when you
yeah.
have a conversation
Yeah,
with
exactly,
a friend, and you know
exactly.
there's a bit of back and forth. You know, it's
Yeah.
oh, you were in that. Oh, I was in this
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have a similar relationship.
Well,
we have a
I'm
similar
saying,
experience, shared experience. You selfish prick.
was-
Anyway, let's head in.
Such a Ricky Gervais thing right there.
Very much. But
You
we're picking our goats of sport. We've got all the Australian sports, so we're picking our AFL goat, our NRL goat, our Aussie cricket goat, and our Aussie rugby goat. So let's just hop into that, right?
Now.
Yeah.
There we go. Yes, and as I touched on before, we are touching on the goats. Yes, this is my new power pose. Tex Walker, come for me, son. But no, we're talking about the Immortals, the greatest of all time.
See, the Immortals, mate, that's a different term in rugby league.
Yeah, it
but-
is.
So you're getting
But
it mixed
not
up here.
everything is rugby league, my friend. It
You reckon?
Immortals
I don't know.
does not. It is,
I don't know.
Immortals is not synonymous with rugby league. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, Gus, I'm going to throw it straight to you. I mean, firstly, I'll just say this: we're going to go NRL first, AFL. We're then going to touch on the Aussie rugby goats and then the cricket goats. So NRL, you know, you're our resident NRL expert, Gus.
yes.
Give us a little bit of who you think the greatest rugby league player of all time
There's
is.
actually
So-
quite a lot of pressure on you here.
This
Because if
is
you
serious?
say, because
this is your journalism career.
Now, well, I mean, people
On
may
the
not
line.
people may not agree with this.
well, he's
but
definitely
this-
an immortal.
You're starting off
Sydney,
strong, pal.
The Sydney Rooster in me is screaming this out, and that is Freddie Fittler as the greatest of all time.
What?
That is ridiculous, mate.
Mate, he's
He's
not
not even
even
the
an
best
immortal.
He's the best rooster.
I don't know.
He's not even an immortal.
He is a very, very good player. He's the youngest guy who's ever represented New South Wales. He's played.
Who's the second youngest to play for New South Wales?
I don't know, but he's a pain in my ass.
Yeah.
See,
No,
that was a.
but
I got it, mate. It's
yeah.
just dreadful, and I'm not going to validate it. Keep going.
the guy's played for 15
Watch it,
years.
CJ. Well, you're going to lose me, mate.
You finished?
If only. Go on.
You finished?
Are you guys finished having your conversation? Go on.
Can I continue?
Yeah.
I was just going to say
wait. Yeah, you can go.
Okay, good. 1989, he made his debut, of course, for Penrith, and it was a little bit of a there's a little bit of a war still there between the Roosters and Penrith because we poached Freddie. He's been playing. He played for, of course, 15 years till 2004. So he had a very long career
Not
as
the
a
longest,
5'8",
but
probably the best 5'8" I've ever seen. So
5-year-old Gus is running around going.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the first memories of watching the Roosters was watching Freddie in 2003, 2002.
So you have a connection with him.
There was 3 or 4 years where the Roosters were unstoppable with Fittler. He revolutionised that position, and you just see how he analyses the game. Even now as like a commentator,
I think he's dreadful.
I think he's
I'm
good.
not a fan.
I mean, Johns.
He's not dreadful.
I think Johns is a better commentator. But you see how they both see the game. It's just crazy how they look at it. The guy, of course, represented Australia, captained Australia. I mean, that's the greatest honour you can have. Rugby league.
Well, Immortals is probably better, right?
I mean, it may not be whatever. It may not be as big as maybe playing for New South Wales. But to
that's a problem.
captain your country over 20 times is
Would you say
pretty amazing.
on that? Would you say State of Origin's a bigger honour than the national team in rugby league?
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Which is the problem.
Well, it's just
Great debate, boys. We all agree on a point.
There's just such a rivalry in Origin.
We're just going to roll. What was that? I'll never forget that.
Rugby league.
Years ago.
Rugby league.
I hate it when they say that. Rugby league.
Mate, like years
They
ago.
love their Sunday footy here in Campbelltown.
Ugh.
I was watching the footy show back when that was like the
Tops.
show for rugby league. And I think it was either the Fat or Aaron Molan. They were talking about how they've been to the NBA. They've been to the Super Bowl. But it doesn't compare to State of Origin. And I remember sitting there and like literally just laughing. Because I've been to Origin and I'll say this straight down the lens of the camera. I did not have a good time. I wanted to leave.
Which Origin
Why is that?
when did you go to
Origin
this?
100.
Was that the 7-3 or something?
6-4.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
well,
That was
I got
bloody
home.
dreadful.
Turned on Fox Sports News, and no word of a lie, the anchors are going, that was the greatest game of Origin we've ever seen.
Oh, no. Yeah. Look, there are so
The
many...
defensive influence in the
There
game.
was so many-
Rugby league
There's so many,
fanatic in me loves
there were
it,
so
mate.
many better games than that.
God.
I mean, you think
It's
of
the traditionalist.
You think of Game 3 in 2019. That was far better. I mean, that was one of the best Origin games I've ever seen.
It was pretty bloody good.
But anyway,
No,
back on Freddie, of course. The guy also won Golden Boots for World's Best Player in 2000.
Which,
It was
again, is... I don't think that's a valid award. That's like the
Well,
Dali
that's
M. It's the Dali M, essentially. Like
Dalian.
the
yeah,
Dalian.
Dali M.
The Dali
Whatever.
Lama.
Same shite.
But all
like
I'm saying is he won the greatest awards. He
Rugby league outside of
youngest ever to play
Australia
for New
is
South
shite
Wales.
house. Let's be honest.
He's what's that?
Rugby league outside of Australia is shite house.
New Zealand were the 2008 Rugby League World Cup champions, mate.
Yeah.
Famous victory
Yeah.
over the Kangaroos at Suncorp Stadium when Billy the Kid famously tipped in a 40-20. And who was there to pick it up? Benji Marshall.
The GOAT.
Nathan.
The GOAT.
Well, wasn't it Nathan?
Spoiler.
Wasn't it Nathan Fiend crossing over for a try in the last minute?
That was 2010, the Four Nations. I was there.
Yeah.
And I was
been
really
in everything, mate.
actually on that. I was really disappointed. Ryan, if you're listening, I'll be very surprised because you haven't listened to one yet. Ryan is my brother.
Yeah.
My favourite player at the time was Benji Marshall,
Yeah.
and he was running around
standard.
doing a lap of honour,
You had a couple of
high-fiving.
Tarzos of him, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, I did.
Every
mate.
one of them.
Yeah.
And he was running around high-fiving the faithful, the fans. And Ryan said, "Here, Fen, hold this." It was like the match program. And he gave it to me, and Benji ran around, and I missed him.
Oh,
And I remember at
You
the
missed
time,
the signature.
criminal.
No, just missed the high five, man. And I remember at the time genuinely being
spewing.
quite cut.
yeah.
But anyway, sorry, that's a
Spewing.
tangent.
Speaking of New Zealand, of course, the Auckland Nines that was introduced in 2014. Fittler came back for the
Yeah.
Auckland Knights.
And didn't he shine, mate? He went the distance.
42 years of age to take an intercept against first grade players.
And he went 70, didn't he?
Yeah, and he went
That's pretty
70 to
mean.
score. I mean, that just shows
That's pretty elite.
Yeah.
That's pretty elite. Anyway,
Yeah, is it elite or is that
the state
players
of the
taking it
nines.
easy? Yeah, the state of the
The
nines really.
nines is pretty
taking
bad.
it
All
easy
I'm
on
saying,
us.
the fact he was 42 years of age
Oh,
and
that's
he was
quite
still
impressive.
being able to compete against guys, 20-year-old.
20-year-old blokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, Phineas Morton, who is your GOAT of rugby league?
Of rugby league.
Sorry, rugby league.
Rugby
Rugby
league.
league.
See, this one's quite a tough one because I wanted to use him as my GOAT for cricket, but I couldn't in the end. Of course, I'm talking about Andrew Johns. He absolutely shone for the New South Wales
Not
Blues.
Cameron Smith with that
He
fielding
was-
effort in the bush.
Oh, that was
He's
pretty good.
bowling as well.
It's like Pavel
I was
Flores.
about to say that, but I didn't want to disrespect a former guest on the show.
No, Joey.
Oh, he knows.
He's
Pavel.
no.
He's a,
Joey Johns, just to clarify, played 2 games for New South Wales, 9 runs. And I remember
Elite.
weeks ago seeing a interview he did on for 9 on their Facebook page. And he was talking about how he had to face Sean Tate.
Ooh.
And how he was absolutely going, I forgot who was at the other end, but he was saying,
Wrecking it.
I'm not going on strike. No singles here. I'm not running. I'm not running.
Not at all.
And ultimately, he had to face Sean Tate, and yeah, the rest, as they say, Gusman, is history. But again, I am talking about Andrew Johns, the man who sets the shadow for Matty Johns. And guys, to be honest, I think it's pretty hard to go past this guy as the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He was voted in 2008 by Rugby League Week as the greatest. And mate, Gusman, you could back this up, mate.
yeah, he's a good player.
Surely. Surely.
Yeah, I think Andrew Johns was a great player, but I also think he went missing when the Knights weren't very good.
But he was good in the arena,
And
the
he-
Origin arena, mate. That's where
he was, but he also didn't win very many premierships with the Knights.
He won one.
He won one in '97, which
I don't
honestly
think that's completely on him, though. I think
Yeah,
a
no,
lot
I know,
of
but-
great players have never won premierships.
I know, but
Nathan Hindmarsh.
there's definitely a sort of
Look,
what's
that's
the word I'm looking for?
That's the standard. That's the benchmark, isn't it? That's what you're judged on ultimately.
Flags, yeah.
Flags, premierships, rings. And again, he only won 1, maybe 2.
yeah.
Was it? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, I'm saying Fittler won 3. So
Yeah, but he's not an
I think it was 3
immortal.
or 4.
Andrew Johns is.
Yeah.
But this
It's
guy,
4.
played 250 or 249 games for the Knights. He went over to Warrington as well. Remember seeing
What?
it? Yeah, no, I watched the video on that too the other week because I have a lot of downtime at the moment, a lot of time on
Yeah.
Facebook. And they were just talking about how, at the time, I think he was the reigning Golden Boot winner. And they were bringing over the best player in the world to the Super League, which was quite a big coup. So
That's
that was
pretty awesome.
Speaking of
That was an
Warrington
05.
signing GI as well.
Did they?
So,
Recently?
Yeah, last week.
Was
See,
it? Yeah, that was.
that's
He could be in the GOAT conversation. I'll say that. I loved him as a kid.
he could be in the GOAT conversation for maybe centres. I don't think
Yeah.
as an overall player.
No.
But
is very
yeah,
But he is
that's
mercurial talent.
Gusman. Let's just sidetrack for a second, mate. That's just absolutely fascinating because he retired last year for medical reasons, and now suddenly
Yeah.
I'm okay again.
Yeah. Okay. So I
very
just want to. I
suspicious.
want to touch on this. South's got salary cap dispensation because of
Voided a contract early.
yeah because he was on. I think it was a $2 million contract and. He medically retired. People say he didn't medically retire, but
But
he
you
medically
can't dispute it.
No, yeah, they got salary cap dispensation. So, what was it? I mean, so it's just a little bit sus that he's now able to play
Just pick
in
and
the
choose,
Super
mate.
League.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
I-
He's
I
picking and
just-
choosing.
Yeah. Because
I
you
think
can't,
the
you
NRL
can't
need
like,
to be.
especially because you
going
can
on?
go, someone can at any point say, I'm retiring, medically retiring because, I've had too many head injuries.
Well, they've done
Starting
this.
to feel fuzzy.
They've done the
CTE.
same thing with Sam Burgess as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Sam Burgess comes back and plays for Warrington as well. So.
Jeez, that's that's
Super team.
a headline, mate.
Yeah.
That would be very, very interesting.
But I will just add with Joey Johns, of course, Dalian medalist 3 times. That's just absolute. That speaks for itself, really. Just absolutely dominant for a long, long time, and of course, the highest unofficial Super Coach score, wasn't it, Gusman? That's the game. That's
That's
something-
what matters.
Super
That-
Coach.
That's what matters.
That's something I've just thought off the top of my head, but of course, there's like points for fantasy points for runs.
Is he really?
Yeah, for like runs made and whatever. But Super Coach wasn't a thing then. But I remember seeing it like last year where they
They like tracked a game.
went
like
back
an
to one
old
of his
game.
games. and-
Wow.
exactly. So if nothing
That's
else,
cool.
faithful, if you take nothing else away, it's Joey Johns, unofficially the highest individual Super Coach performance, therefore greatest of all time. Campbell, argument over.
Well, is it? Is the argument over?
I know who you're about to say, and I can tell you it is.
Well, you mentioned the Dally M's that were won, or the
Dally
Dally M's that were won.
Dally?
You say 3. Who won 4? Jonathan Thurston. He won 4 Dally M's, however you want to say it. How are you saying it?
Dally M's.
Dally M's. Okay, whatever. 2005, 2007, 2014, and 2015. Now, 2015.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Iconic.
Oh, boy. 2015 grand final against the Bronx. So bloody good. That's probably the best game of rugby league I've ever seen.
Wait, guys,
Rugby
sorry.
League.
Sorry, wasn't it? It was against the Roosters, wasn't it? What happened there?
What's this?
2015 grand final, pal.
No, it was the prelim to go into the grand final.
Sean Kenny Dow comes to mind.
Yeah. See, that's why we.
That's why we
got rid of him to the night.
See,
he threw
listeners-
so many intercepts.
Listeners and viewers, if you don't understand this, Gus, just explain it.
Darius.
What the okay, well, we went to Suncorp and we were pretty confident actually.
We?
So you bought tickets beforehand.
To
Are you talking about that? You're talking
we
about the
went
prelim.
to the prelim,
Prelim.
and then
Yeah, but who's in the prelim?
the Broncos and the Roosters, and at Suncorp, of course. So it's going to be tough.
Lang Park.
Literally first set of 6
Couple
the
of
Roosters
minutes,
have. The
yeah.
ball comes, it was kicked downfield. Kenny Dow picks it up and you go, okay, what's he going to do? Because Kenny Dow, you just put your hand, you just cover your eyes because you
First
don't know
half.
what's going to happen.
One of
Train
New
crash
Zealand's-
you can't look away from.
Throws the biggest, I reckon it was a 20-meter pass, attempted 20-meter pass
Leaguey float too.
to Minicello.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
Oh.
Minicello. Intercepted by Darius Boyd, and then bloody hell, the Broncos fans just mugging us off, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, fair enough.
But before that game, I actually bought tickets to the 2015 grand final. I mean,
Yes.
I was a little bit overconfident, but I wanted to go to a grand final anyway. And oh my god, that 2015 grand
Yeah,
final,
boys.
that was the best game I've
Talk
ever
us through.
seen.
Where were you when you? Well, obviously,
Oh.
you were at the game.
I was in the nosebleed section, mate. I was way up high,
Mm-hmm.
and but I mean, I still got quite a lot of the action. So I mean, it was just insane.
Yeah.
We were probably like the furthest away from the action, but
Still.
it was still like we were
Awesome.
on the sideline.
Yeah.
And Thurston, of course, when he was lining up that kick, everyone was like, oh
On the
my
edge of your
God,
seats,
oh my
you're
God.
standing
Like,
at that
everyone's
point. It
like,
is
oh,
nuts.
what is going on? And as the kick came in, hit the post, everyone was screaming because he thought he got it in.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
the way
Yeah.
JT kicks, it often looks very outright, and then comes in, hits the post. Obviously, doesn't go
Yeah.
in. They go to overtime.
He's known for that curl.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how different Ben Hunt's career would be if Thurston slots that kick?
I think Broncos fans still think
No,
Ben Hunt
'cause-
knocked that backwards.
Definitely
I'll put it
not.
to you like this, Gusman. If Thurston slots that kick, now Ben Hunt, for the record, faithful, give this a watch too on YouTube.
If you haven't seen it already,
This is-
go
look,
watch it.
we-
It's must-watch material.
We're telling you, there's a lot of extra content we're telling you to watch, but please
Go watch it for
inquire.
your own
Go on.
eyes.
But basically, Ben Hunt, in extra time, golden point, attempts to field the kickoff, and Butterfingers himself fumbles it.
On like
Now-
the 5 too.
Yeah, he does. So basically, I think 2 or 3 head-ups after the scrum that followed, Thurston slots it. You beauty.
Drop kick.
The GOAT, or one of the, the argument for the GOAT.
Aha, a little
See,
bit of
that-
a
that-
there, my
that-
friend.
Yeah, see, that was another sort of thing
Whoops.
that Thurston had won.
Was it a mistake?
Thurston had won everything. He'd won Golden Boots.
But he'd won a ring, mate, technically.
Yeah, I mean, he had already won a grand final
It's true.
with the Bulldogs.
But he gave us-
albeit off the bench. He gave it to Steve
Price.
Price. But winning this as a captain and with the Cowboys was pretty much what boosted him to that immortality, greatest of all
100%.
time
And
sort of
he was
position.
an integral part to the best generation of Queensland rugby league
yeah.
talent
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah.
He was part of the obvious 8 in a row. He won 11 out of 13 NRL State of Origin series in his career. 11 out of 13. He only lost 2.
That's
It was his
crazy.
first one and like his fourth last one.
Take
It's
that ball.
pretty incredible.
Take that, Paul Gallen.
Take it, son. And the 2017 series as well. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
That was incredible. He only played one game in the 2017 series.
The guy was injured, and I mean, God, you got to criticise New South Wales because they didn't attack him at all throughout that game. But
No.
he had a bunged up shoulder, and he, of course, he didn't play the first game. Came into the second game. Queensland struggled. The first game they got smashed. Came in the second game and kicked a goal from the sideline to beat New South Wales. Last 2 minutes, I think,
It was crazy.
at
Yeah.
ANZ.
I saw
Oh.
that again on Facebook the other
Yeah.
day.
That was
That's
incredible.
See, I've got no life.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
That was
yeah,
nuts.
Exactly.
That was awesome.
Absolutely
It
insane.
was great.
'Cause
Incredible.
He was talking about, again, on Channel 9, talking about, what was going through his mind. And basically, he was just out and out convinced that I'm
going in.
slotting this.
Yeah.
That's the mentality you have to have at that level.
It is, but I mean, to be honest, that kick was the culmination of decades of hard work and getting to that level. Because
Yeah.
when he broke out onto the scene, Gusman, he was still the skinny kid.
Well,
was
they
small,
never thought
skinny.
he'd make it.
No.
They thought he was too small to.
was he
to
the
play.
one? Was he the one who offered to play for $1? Who was that? It was-
I think it was actually.
I'm pretty sure that was.
It was him actually. Yeah, it
I
was.
think it was.
Ends up playing 323 NRL games.
Easy like. If I'm wrong on that fact, don't at me. But I'm pretty sure.
I'm
right.
pretty sure you're right too. But anyway, let's get on to my favourite code. Let's go on and get on to AFL. Gusman, this is your forte.
Oh, yeah,
If
it
anything is your forte, it's AFL.
is.
Get
Oh,
into it,
is.
son. The
Well,
sarcasm is brimming.
Okay, he might not be the GOAT
Your favourite
of the
player.
AFL, but he's more of a favourite player for me. So I've kind of gone with favourite player for all of these.
Pretty
But
much,
anyway,
mate.
So he
I'm
just
going-
didn't really get the memo.
No, I
No.
didn't. I'm going with
Didn't
Jonathan.
understand the
I'm going
concept.
with Jonathan Brown from the Brisbane
Brownie.
Lions.
Brownie.
Yeah, look, Brownie was pretty much an integral part of that Lions squad early 2000s.
Dynasty.
Yeah, well, what they won
2001.
3 in a row.
Three in a row. Three in a
And
row.
then- and then four grand finals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4 grand finals in a row, of course.
Bloody
Jason Ackermanis in there as well. Simon Black. Iconic.
Port Adelaide in 04, I think,
Think
got the nod.
so. Yeah. I think so. And I think
Yeah.
Sean Burgoyne may have been in that squad. Potentially. Not that that's relevant,
Yeah.
but it may be.
But
Yeah, because I know who that is.
Yeah.
won
Yeah.
countless best
Your
and
knowledge.
fairest players at the Brisbane Lions. Won two-time All-Australian, of course, 2007, 2009. Coleman medal winner.
Yep.
Of course.
Do you know how many goals he kicked in that season? I don't. Sorry to throw you under the bus. Sorry to
of
throw
course
you
not.
under the bus.
I doubt I even watched a game that season.
In the 2001 season,
How many disposals did he average?
over his entire career,
What's a disposal?
I actually umpire AFL.
Yeah, that's
You
live.
do,
true.
actually,
I don't
yeah.
even know the rules. I mean, well,
How do
I
they let you do that?
I know. I'm a boundary umpire, so I
you
don't
just
have
need
responsibility.
You're a bit
I-
of Bev.
Look, when I usually watch, when I usually don't insult me like that. When I
I'm
usually
insulting
wa-
Bev by saying that. Mate.
when I usually watch AFL, I'm kind of going, okay, what I don't understand a lot of the rules, but what I do know is yell out ball.
Yeah.
Whenever you
Even when you don't have to.
Yeah, that's how
Even
you
when
fit
it's
in.
not
You just
ball,
go
you go,
ball.
yeah.
I will say-
ball.
Oh, so he kicked 77 in his Coleman season.
Wow.
Man,
Okay.
AFL fans, I think they're the best fans, not in
It's
the
the
world.
best.
I'm not going to bestow that honour upon them, but they are so fun, especially at a grassroots level.
Yeah.
I went to some of the grassroots finals, I think 2 years ago, and man, the chat is just so incomparable to what we see in our beloved sports, Gusman, because from my point of view, from a rugby point of view, it's very
Nothing like
much
it.
chinos, beer.
Dude,
you
rugby
know.
union is the most like tally ho.
It's a pain on my Amex.
Yeah.
No, just every.
Do you take Amex?
just every,
Can I write a check for that one?
just everyone's
Let me take my monocle off my arm.
You're dressed like the Monopoly man. Just-
exactly. But every once in a while, basically, all you're allowed to do, it feels like, is yell out. He's been doing it all day,
Yeah,
ref.
yeah.
But just not allowed to.
Nil.
But not loud enough to the point the ref might actually hear.
No.
Yeah.
Again, that's part of our private school cowardice, I
Yeah.
guess. And Gusman, from your point of view, it's a lot of just other chat, which is very different too. You know, and it's in its own way. And
You
sport
can
is
hear the
amazing.
saliva coming through the missing teeth in NRL. That is for sure.
But what I find with AFL is they're a lot more willing to really go at you
Oh,
as an
yeah.
individual player, not judge you as a player, but really use your playing ability to go at you as a person. Really.
And sometimes not the best thing. Obviously, we saw the Adam Goods situation. Terrible
No,
display.
see, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
No,
about
but,
again,
yeah.
like going down to the Saturday, Sunday, watching it on the weekend, and
It's awesome.
It's just an atmosphere. Watching
Yeah.
like the Kemmel Bears play.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
It's different, but of course, Adam Goods. That's
Yeah, that's a
different
touchy
issue, yeah.
situation. But also, I went to an AFLW game at Hickey Park at Grange, and that was the best thing. It was so awesome. It was such a good environment, so lively. That's what I love about
it's
AFL.
a family sport, mate.
It is a family sport, and it's very, it is very vocal, but it's never really a bad vocal.
I
It's
think you
not
can
mean-spirited.
It's not
I think
mean-spirited.
you can sort of link it with cricket a little bit. I think
Yeah.
it's the same sort of
Cricket's
fan-
passive though.
I
Yeah,
think cricket's
it's
got
very
a
like
very
army, like
I think cricket's got a
dresses
very
the Richies,
similar
that kind of
fan
thing.
base.
Yeah,
to AFL.
I mean, that makes sense as well, based on obviously the cities and
And-
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But one thing I love about AFL as well, I went to, as a non-Brisbane fan, I went to the GWS versus Brisbane Lions.
There's a big,
one of the final on the west of the town. Went there
You
and
Westie.
who was a grub on the day?
Toby Green.
Yeah,
Green.
you guys didn't even know that. You can have a guess that
And
it's
his-
probably going to be
And
bloody
his-
Toby Green.
And his dad was a week later.
Yeah, he was. But no, the environment there was so amazing, and anyone who went with
That's
me will tell.
spotless.
No,
That's a first.
no. This was last year.
Oh, yeah,
This
right.
was when the Lions were at. This was at the Gabba last year.
Oh,
I
okay.
went as a non-Brisbane fan to a Brisbane game, and the atmosphere was really awesome. Like there was this one kid who was going up and down the up the aisle. What do you call it? Aisleways, alley, whatever.
Yeah.
Up the aisles. There we go. And he was just going like, Lions! He was getting so
Fire
into
up,
it.
lads!
Yeah,
Fire
and he's
up!
like, they can hear you, champ. They can hear you, muscles. There
Well,
we go.
are you
Lockie
the kind
Neal's
of
turning
person-
around going, from like the,
Thank you.
from like 150 metres away. He's
Yeah.
like,
Him and his
Thank
calves
you.
go, you.
Are you guys the kind of person that yells at your TV screen or like sits in a specific chair because you think your
No.
team
Well,
will
no.
do better? Like,
Superstitious? No, and I can imagine
Gus,
you are.
I am so super. If I'm not sitting exactly how I was sitting in the first half, then I go, okay.
Need to
well,
tape you
the
to a
Rooster,
chair.
the Roosters are losing because I'm sitting like this, or because I'm not standing up and pacing around. I'm that
ridiculous, mate.
crazy.
That is
mate.
ridiculous. Do you have any other arguments for Jonathan Brown?
oh no, well, I had a conversation.
I
Sorry,
just think Jonathan Brown was.
I had something to say.
Oh, sorry, go.
Sorry, Gusman. Can I just butt in
Yeah,
with
yeah,
a
no,
joke?
that's right.
Oh, mate. Now it's not going to be funny. Not that it was.
I was
but-
just going to say, just recently, when it comes to me watching All Blacks games, I tend to sit in the same seat because it's in the media box.
Oh my god. Okay, you haven't. Okay, actually, I was about to say no, you haven't, but you have.
So guys, I'm done.
Yeah. See you later.
Fist bump.
I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, actually, can't leave me hanging. We are on.
I put his mic
Just
down.
cut him off, cut him off.
Put his mic
Yeah,
down.
exactly.
Nothing to do with it.
Yeah, anyway, I was just
That's
going to
not
say
how it works,
Jonathan
pal.
Brown. I mean, 3 premierships with the Lions. When that's when the Lions, of course, were at their best.
Yeah.
The heyday of the Lions, and I mean, he's the best representation of it, I guess. So
I'd say so, actually.
That's
yeah.
what I'll finish off with. The GOAT of the Brisbane Lions, at least.
Brisbane Bears.
Fitzroy.
Fitzroy. Fitzroy, legend.
Yeah.
A storied franchise. Finney, you've got someone from a very storied franchise, the Gold Coast Suns.
I was about to say, Junior, Gary Ablett Jr., I'm talking about here, is very much my GOAT. Mainly, exactly for that. You were on the money with that, mate. He survived. He's one of very few. Daniel Gorringe can't say it the same, where he ventured to the Gold Coast. But
For the Big
couldn't
Brother
survive.
house.
Man, I am
They call it the Bermuda Triangle.
excited.
They do. I'm
I'm
so
so
keen.
excited about Big Brother just to watch
Cooking
Daniel
with
Gorringe.
Daniel. What was it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Daniel.
Nothing but an apron.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
the thing that's going to annoy me about that is he's going to be funny and he'll get a reasonable amount of screen time. But you know there's going to be some just like characters who are just like suited for reality TV.
Yeah.
And when I'm watching Big Brother this year, because I will admit I'm going to.
I'm going to watch it just
I
because
don't
of
want to
Daniel.
watch it for the reality TV.
No.
I want to watch it for Daniel Gorringe.
Do you think he'd be better
It'll
suited
be so
to
funny.
Big Brother or I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here?
Oh, both.
I can see him doing
Both.
I'm a Celebrity. He
Yeah.
could do, but yeah, he could be in the next. He could do Big Brother one season. I'm a
He
Celebrity
would
the
easily
next.
make it onto both shows.
Oh,
as well.
no doubt.
They are just digging and scrapping for talent for
Yeah,
those shows.
I loved when Favola was on and Freddie Flintoff.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
Merv.
talk about
Merv Hughes.
Gaza Ablett Jr.
Well, mate, I think he won a Brownlow at the Suns. Like,
He did.
Jesus
He
Christ,
did.
what else does he have to do, Gusman? Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
that's sold.
Head and shoulders, this guy is... Yeah, sorry.
One thing he's not a goat of, hairline. Have you seen
Okay,
him?
that's-
Sorry,
that's a
it's a
sensitive
low
issue.
blow, but
Finn in 20 years.
Not even.
Thanks for...
Um,
hey, you really picked up my mood, Gus.
That's generous.
thanks
No,
for
but
that.
if you look at photos of him, he's got the full mop, like
We were
wiped
talking about
down,
last
like
week,
kind of
actually.
around about here.
Yeah, okay, right. Getting a bit personal there, mate.
No, but he's hiding it. But no, I prefer him with a shaved head. Shaved head and the beard.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Look, I think it gets
Cue
to a
ball.
stage where, and this is something I've accepted from quite a young age, Gusman, that eventually you've just got to let it go. There are so many ex-players out there who are still doing pundit. Yeah, we get it. Maybe my time has come, but
My word. But let's talk about Gaz. Let's get back on track.
I don't want to. This is so like I'm trying to talk about a goat here, and you're talking about.
Sorry. I'll no more hairline jokes. None.
He's a two-time Brownlow medalist. Mate, 346 games,
Yes.
266 Brownlow votes. Mate, this guy, he has been there and done it, and his career is still going strong.
No doubt.
Now, I think we were talking about this the other week, CJ, but I think he probably would have retired if 2020 had gone on as scheduled. But due to the postponement, the suspendment, whatever you want to call it, I'm pretty sure, my opinion is 2021 will be Gaz's last year, but 1 year more than what we were going to otherwise get, Gusman.
You really throw me. I was not listening at all.
I'm so zoned out. Oh my word!
I was not listening.
You were watching him that whole time.
I was. I saw you facing the other way, and I was like, "Here we go."
I was looking on my
up.
computer. I was like, okay, how much time do we have left in this?
You just want to go
we've
home.
Still got
You're
rugby
thinking about dinner.
union. Well, I was going to actually.
I've got a chook in the
No,
oven.
no, dude, look the oven on.
Look,
No,
I thought I'd pick on the one guy who knows less about AFL than me. 8-time All-Australian, but anyway, CJ, that's all I've got to say about a junior, but you seem to think someone else
Yeah,
stands above him.
You know, we spoke about something a few weeks ago about when you go to kick a football with your dad, how he goes, "Give me a roost, son," and just launches it.
Give me
Roost.
Okay.
Get your head out of the gutter, pal.
God, that's really sus.
Yeah, well, mate, that's your ears, mate. But no, Dad goes, "I'm gonna boot this ball further than you can." This is one guy whose dad can do it. I'm talking about Gary Ablett Sr. You know what is a good sign? When your nickname is God. That is well and truly his nickname. It says it on his Wikipedia.
Really?
Yeah. But Dad has always referred to him as God. Otherwise, Gaz. I mean, very creative. But the magician as well, he's referred to as, won the Coleman Medal in 93, 94 and 95, 3 years in a row, playing for Geelong. He kicked 124, 113 and 118 in those 3 years. So that is dominance in terms of goal kicking. You're looking at my script there, pal. No, but what people might not know about him is he actually played for Hawthorn for six games. Played 6 games and kicked 10 goals.
Script.
See? Yeah, exactly. Pays off. But because what he did was he was playing for Hawthorn, and he's a country boy. And basically he said, "I'm not enjoying my life, being in the city. I'm not used to it." So he moved back home, and then went out to Geelong because they offered him a contract. He then played 242 games for the club and kicked over 1,000 goals.
Easy as you like.
Easy as you like.
I reckon I could beat him.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, give me a shot. Give me a shot. Give me that many games.
But man,
maybe
exactly.
I can kick
this was a guy who really did transform the game, didn't he?
100%.
He evolved it, but he also made it look so easy. And that's why, to be in this conversation as a GOAT, I think that's the basic eligibility.
No doubt. And even when I was doing some research for this, watching back, his greatest games or whatever, he looks like a modern player. Like when you play, a lot of the time when you watch older games, especially because he was playing in the 80s and 90s, you look back and you go, "Oh yeah, but he'd get smoked in today's game," which I don't think he would really. He was that dominant.
I think his son has shown that wouldn't be the case because obviously similar genetic makeups.
Yeah.
If he had the same, I guess access to gyms, nutrition, blah blah blah, etc., and he very well could.
Oh, no doubt.
Hold his own.
No doubt. And guys, we're recording this on a Wednesday, 27th of May. You've seen this, Finn. A few places have posted this around.
Twice.
I don't know. Yeah, you've seen it twice. I've seen it twice. I'll quiz you here. On this day, in 1989, I want
Gus
to
is
say.
acting like he might actually
he
get
might
the
actually
answer.
know. I don't even think I'm going to... But this is just the stat line of his. 30 disposals, 14 goals, 2 behinds, and 14 marks.
What am I supposed to answer?
That is just insanity.
What do I lock in,
That shows
Eddie?
that you don't know. I want to lock in 30 disposals. Those are all
He
marks.
forgot to ask the question.
I thought you were asking a question. I was
What question was I going to ask about that?
How many goals you kicked? I imagine.
yeah, I thought that was a
I
question.
don't really know how I could make that a question. I know I said quiz, but
Here we go. How many goals did he kick on grand final day?
it wasn't the grand final day. But here's
That's
a
a good
quiz.
enough question. I wouldn't have gotten it.
Here is okay. So that wasn't the quiz, but here is a quiz for you guys. And
Okay,
this is one that
okay.
is going to be phrased in a
Okay.
question. In the 1989 grand final,
Wasn't alive, but okay.
yep, neither was I.
No.
They were playing Hawthorn. They were playing Hawthorn. How many goals did he kick?
14.
Can I have some options?
It's either
1, 2, 3, or 9.
I'm gonna lock in 3, Eddie.
yeah. Ooh. Millionaire. Can I phone a friend? He kicked
50-50?
Yeah, 50-50. He kicked it's either 1 or 9. He kicked 9 goals in the 1989 grand final, and only he equaled Gordon Coventry, household name. Gordon Coventry's record.
Have his poster in my room.
He's definitely not.
I'm named after him, Gordon Coventry.
The AFL Tragics will know who he is. Sorry, but that he equaled Gordon Coventry's 1928 record for the most goals in a VFL AFL grand final with 9 goals. What's most interesting about this game is they lost, and he also won the Norm Smith.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, you're like, at this point, I'm giving up. He kicked 9 goals in a 6-point defeat to Hawthorn.
Like, man,
All right, lads, I think you let me down a little bit here.
Just a little bit.
Come on.
Beers are on
Beers on you
internet.
guys.
Yeah. We talk about like LeBron, carrying the Cavs.
This is the
This
definition
is
of
different
carry.
level.
You get voted as a game MVP in a losing game that is a grand final. Only one of 4 players to ever do that. Like
Insane.
this is the GOAT. He he retired in 91 and then came back in 92. He just retired and then went, you know what? I want to come back.
MJ.
He pretty much did an MJ, except he didn't go and play baseball. But he was voted.
He could have.
He could have if he wanted to. I'm sure he's the GOAT, God himself. He was in the AFL Team of the Century, Australian Football Hall of Fame, 4-time All-Australian team, 4-time VFL AFL Team of the Year, which are pretty much the same thing, right? I would assume. I think they are. So 8-time All-Australian, basically, which is nuts. Norm Smith Medal, 1989. 9-time Geelong leading goal kicker, which is nuts. Geelong Football Club actually voted him the greatest player ever. Just, professionalism at its finest.
Sorry?
Geelong Football Club greatest ever
Can you start
player
from the
award.
beginning? I didn't get the last.
Don't encourage him,
15
mate.
points.
Stop it.
He was good. We get it.
He was great. He was amazing. Anyway, he won Geelong's best player ever, which I find weird. How can you give a best player award when, how can you do that when someone else might come along and be better? It's like,
But play the odds here. Probably not.
Probably
Again,
not.
That's why he's called God. My question for you, CJ, is it's kind of a chicken or the egg situation type thing. But who was nicknamed after who? God or Senior?
Who's came first?
Who's the original God?
Who knows? I'm going to say, do I have any options? What are my options?
1, 2, 3, or
1,
9.
2, 3 or 9. I'm going to lock in 9. No, but yeah, it's definitely Gary Ablett Senior is the guy. Let's be honest. Let's go into rugby. Let's go Aussie rugby union. Private school boy. We mentioned this before, but Gus, who is your favourite one? You may as well have a rogue shout for this one.
Yeah, I'm having another stab in the not really stab in the. I like this guy as well.
That you haven't seen them.
Let me go with. Matt Gitto.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going.
You look like the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter there. You're like,
I will say this.
Gitto.
Wait, before you elaborate, Gusman, sorry, my hairline, I'm really self-conscious about it right now.
I can
Have you
fix it up
tried
in post,
straight?
mate.
Have you tried?
I'll Photoshop hair on the other side. Your hairline down. Yeah.
Don't have enough technology in the world, mate. I will say this. I'm quite surprised Gusman didn't go with Lottie Dakiri, Wendell Saylor,
Very true.
Falau, even during his time, Matt Rogers.
See, a lot of these picks are very relevant to me as a person, and through watching rugby union, these
but
are
you
the
went
sort
with
of guys that.
You went with Matt Giddo, mate.
That's
I
an
know.
interesting shout.
Well, it's just because when I think of the Wallabies, I think of Matt Giddo. I think of that headgear.
Really?
Yeah, the
I
green
think of
headgear.
that.
Headgear is iconic,
I think
to
of
be
that
fair.
try in the
2008.
2015 Rugby World Cup
against England.
semi-final against England.
Not semi-final group stage.
Was it a group stage?
Just remember,
I thought it knocked him out.
George Thompson, if you're not watching, mate, England didn't make it out of the group.
That's right. Yeah, wasn't a semi-final. I didn't even make it out of the group.
Don't reference 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. But, yeah, the guy had over 100 caps for the Wallabies, played over 100 Super Rugby games, I think 104.
Did he have 100 caps for the Wallabies?
That's pretty
Yeah.
nuts.
Was it? No, his 100th cap was against Samoa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
But he
That's
also played a game
Samoa
against
and-
Samoa and tried
Yeah.
to tackle that big winger and got bounced
Alassane Tuolangi.
to got bounced to Kingdom
He
Come.
is insane.
Yeah.
My days, faithful. Again, yet another thing you should look up. There's a photo. So Tuolangi, his brother still plays for England, Manu Tuolangi. There's a photo. There's about 5 brothers, and they had a photo together about a year and a half ago.
Freaks, man.
Alisana, mate, he looks like he makes the Hulk look small. Like,
That's
honest to
funny.
God, like straight up, he is huge. Like,
Yeah.
it's inconceivable. But yeah, was Matt Giddo's 100th against Samoa in Sydney?
I don't know, mate.
Because that's off the top of my head. And that was his last test because he didn't make the 2011 World Cup.
He played 103 tests.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I'm wrong somehow here. Because
Anyway,
because
yeah.
this is quite interesting. He was telling on one of the, I forgot what the name of the show was, one of the podcasts in England, one of the rugby podcasts, about how in 2011, Robbie Deans
Inferior podcast, might I just say.
Robbie Deans didn't select him for the 2011 World Cup, but he basically invited him up to camp, I think in Brisbane, to tell him, hey, mate, you're not in the team.
Yeah.
And that was the day the team was announced. So,
Yeah, well, I mean,
He flew him there and he was like, yeah, you're not
Seriously?
that pal.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
well, I mean, Matt Giddo, you know, he can play almost every position in the back line there. He
you
played
reckon?
a little bit of fly half, a little bit of inside centre, chucked him on the wing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
He was mainly a
He was mainly fly half.
10-12.
But he did play a little bit of wing and a little bit of...
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
In the
I mainly
centres,
see him as
so-
10. His 100th was against Scotland. Oh my. Well, the view. Okay, I'm going to put that in the video. If you're not watching this already, I'm going to put it there. If you're on, this
he's
makes for
massive.
great content for Spotify.
Also,
Finn, so for the listeners, for that pause, Finn just showed us a photo that he mentioned, that he alluded to before.
he's bigger than the Hulk.
Yeah.
And I can.
But Matt
attest-
Giddo's 100th
I can
appearance
attest to
against
that,
Scotland.
Yeah.
Look,
Anyway, but
Marnie's-
also,
yeah.
sorry, the guy also he lives on in the law of the game now because there's Giddo's law, which is regarding
about
those overseas players.
60 caps.
Yeah,
All of
so
us, yeah.
that name is going to be around.
Yeah, but man, he was absolutely fantastic when he did go
Yeah.
overseas. I will say this: he went over to Toulon. Now he's in Japan, and man, he's done everything in the game. So congratulations to him.
Yeah,
of course.
I definitely think he was one of the goats in that Australian side that really struggled
Yeah,
in
but-
the mid 2000s, sort of late 2000s.
Yeah,
So
still struggling.
still struggling.
Still struggling.
Yeah, but
As you could see by my article during I'm joking. We're not
you
gonna
can plug it. Plug it.
Rugby pass. I write for them sometimes. No biggie.
See, I was going to mention something I did before, but then I didn't because I'm not full of myself.
I'm not full of myself.
My ego isn't as bigger than my head.
I just worked a 6-hour shift at a grocery store.
At a grocery store.
So
Actually, true.
yeah, that's where my priorities are right now.
Pretty much. But Phineas. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. My
No one
liege.
bags apples quite like me.
Got the record.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite embarrassed, CJ.
What's this? Couldn't think
Because to be honest, I know that we've spent a few days planning this, but I've actually gone with nobody, Gus.
I already knew. When you started saying this sentence, I knew where it was going 100% of the time. I was like, yeah, I'll take my exit.
Okay, faithful.
We keep using that joke.
Okay, faithful. If you haven't caught up, we've referenced this a few times in the previous 43 episodes, but I will clarify
44. Well, I guess.
previous 43. CJ.
Okay,
Yeah.
correct.
But I'll elaborate and justify why I said nobody, because I'm talking about John Eales, because his nickname is Nobody, because CJ,
Nobody's perfect.
nobody's perfect, implying that John Eales is Gus.
Nobody. What?
Oh, God,
Jesus,
perfect.
perfect.
Anyway, mate.
The Morris boy. AIC. Legend.
Yeah, Morris boy, mate, which is
Yeah.
insane. UQ as well. He's been to this fine institution, but boys,
Seen these
I'm
orange
sorry.
balls,
I'm
boys.
sorry. AIC.
exactly.
GPS.
That's the that is
GPS. AIC.
that is the privilege coming out
Yeah.
in your speech right there.
Yeah.
Take that back.
He was absolutely insane though. He's one of the, there are a few more players now saying that the All Blacks won the World Cup in 2015, but before that, players winning more than one Rugby World Cup wasn't very common at all. But he's done it. He's done it. And he was a captain in 1999, of course, when he got to hoist the Webb Ellis Cup. And boys, it's just absolutely insane. Of course, that iconic moment against the All Blacks, Westpac Stadium, Bledisloe Cup on the line.
Kicker too.
Tri-Nations on the line. Now, at this stage, Gusman, we're about 7-8 minutes in added time. And John Eales, cometh the hour, cometh the man.
Cometh the
CJ.
legend.
Seriously. And,
Cometh the goat.
And he stepped up, slotted it, and, won the Bledisloe Cup in the Tri-Nations for the Wallabies. And, won the Bledisloe Cup for the Wallabies. That's
Yeah.
something that we haven't said in a long, long time, Wallabies fans. And will we say it anytime soon? Probably not.
I
But
don't
anyway,
think so. But he played number 8, right?
this is a lock.
Lock.
Number
Okay.
4.
So, and he kicked.
Yeah.
which was just, you don't see that.
You don't. And we won't see it for a long, long time, I don't think. I remember
Harry
seeing
Wilson.
it. Harry Wilson, again, as we referenced a few episodes ago.
Go
I
check
remember,
that episode out if you haven't already.
I remember in like under 15 seeing like props kick and thinking that's weird.
Go on, big fella.
Yeah, but like
Got a cannon of a leg.
seriously.
Have it.
So like slotting them too.
I rate it.
But no, Johnny Eels, boys, goes without saying.
Yeah. And
Nobody's perfect.
Perhaps his greatest achievement, statue outside Suncorp.
Yeah, again, it's
Recently.
Lang Park is very much a rugby league venue, but he started the trend, I guess, that hasn't really been
Well,
built
he's the
on yet.
first, really, yeah.
Exactly, he's the first non-rugby league player to get a statue at Suncorp Stadium, and the first of not many. Well, he will be
He could
many,
be.
but actually, who will
Who
be
I
the
was
next?
about to ask that.
Who will be the next? Okay, that's really tough. That's really tough.
None
Jimmy
of...
Jimmy Hallwell.
Oh, that's a good shout. Maybe Stevie.
More?
Kenya?
No, because Stevie
No,
Hall
not
played.
Kenya.
Because Steve Moore played most of his games, of course, at
In Brumbies
Canberra.
territory.
Oh, walked past him on the street the other day.
I know you did. Let's not say where he lives. Actually, let's not do that.
No.
But you did cross him, and what happened? You did the classic. Let's interact. All right. You're Stephen Moore. I'm Finn. I'm walking down the street.
It's just
I'm Finn. I've got an inflated ego.
Actually, sorry. I think Finn best represents Stephen Moore.
That's why I said he plays Stephen
the
Moore.
hairline.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny.
Okay. All right.
No,
Yeah. Go. Yeah.
No, you guys
What do
know.
you do? You come up to a man you've interviewed, one of the best Australian rugby players of all time. What do you say to him?
G'day.
G'day, mate.
No, because
Hi.
it's
How you doing, Chief?
Hi.
because
Hi.
I'm your biggest fan.
it's kind of awkward for me because I know who he is. I've interviewed him, but he has no idea that I have or who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird if I was to go a very Angus-esque moment. If I was
Yeah.
to go Finn from the podcast.
That's another story from my 20th.
For another day, I think.
For another day.
Jack Pack. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. That's with a former Wallaby captain, actually.
Yeah, Jesus. No, but it's, again, Johnny Eels, boys, absolutely fantastic. I
So
really
good.
can't talk about this guy enough. He's been there and done it all. Over 100 caps for the Reds when the Reds were still very much in their infancy. So,
Yeah.
again, justly has a statue. I think James Hall will be the next.
He's
just
the
because-
only one I can see. Like, there's no one else, no Queenslanders in that period since him.
Just because,
BBC boy.
yeah, but just
Yes,
because
he is.
just because he captained the Reds to a title.
Yeah.
I think if he didn't do that, he wouldn't get
no.
a statue.
Yeah, because maybe they haven't been born yet, the next one you get a statue. Maybe Patea.
Well, I haven't made my debut yet,
knows?
to be fair.
This
so
is true. There's time for you. And how tall are you?
tall enough.
Are you around 5'8"?
Yes.
Because this player I'm about to talk about is, what a segue. And you mentioned Matt Gutto playing at Toulon. Someone else who played at Toulon. Someone else who's 5'8", short in stature. This is one's for the short kings. George Gregan.
How many test caps, mate? Off the top of your head, come on.
100 and...
39.
Okay, I didn't even finish my answer. I was going to say 139.
Yeah, because you
No,
Sure
I,
you
I-
were.
I definitely wasn't. I was going to say
just about-
112.
He was just about to read it. I just wanted to flex a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, whatever. This guy is iconic. Zambian born. Bit of a fun fact for you.
Wow.
Anyone doing any pub
I did read his
sports challenge?
I did read his book actually back in grade 8.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
I did know that.
Zambian born.
I can't read.
What a halfback. Would this be the best Australian halfback ever?
He would be, mate.
Yeah.
Easily hands down. He's got a statue. He's got a stand named after him at the Brumby Stadium. Which one's that?
I don't know what it's called.
GIO, isn't it?
You know, Australian Rugby Union wasn't professional until 96?
Yes.
I didn't know that. How crazy is
Yeah,
that?
after the 95 World Cup. That was-
Yeah.
95
very
was
late,
actually...
isn't it?
Very late.
1995 was actually the turn of professionalism. But again, maybe in Australia it was a year later. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite weird because again, that's just such a foreign concept for us, especially because we were all born in 2000, well, Gus 99. But basically, we've grown up with, if you play sport, chances are you're pro.
Yeah.
Professional.
Well, if you
get
play
paid.
for a franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's such a foreign concept and it's not that long ago.
Well, to be fair, he played in the Brumbies first year, right? 96. It was in the Super Rugby. It wasn't called the Super Rugby back then. What was it called? Like Super 12 or something like that back then?
Super 12, man. And then it was, Super
It
Rugby.
went through and then in the early 2000, like mid 2000, or like early 2010s, it became like Super 13, Super
had
14,
we had
Super
Super
15, and then they
14.
went, you know what? Let's just go Super Rugby. Let's not change
keep
all
it
of our
simple.
branding every single bloody year.
Well, now we've got Super Rugby Aotearoa starting up and Vodafone Super Rugby AU kicking off on July 3rd.
Mate.
So that's just adding further confusion. And on top of that, apparently last week there was the representatives of the Rugby Union Players Association from Australia, including Michael Hooper, were on a phone call with representatives from New Zealand, including Sam Cane, who's the captain of the All Blacks now. and they were talking about how the best thing for Super Rugby going forward is a South African-less Super Rugby.
Ooh.
With just a trans-Tasman rivalry.
We've spoken about this. I don't know whether we've spoken about it on air, but I actually agree with that.
So do I, but basically...
Because Gary from Northgate does not care about any of the South African teams.
Well, I mean, Tate talked about it last week. You got all those time zone issues when you're playing over in South Africa and stuff like
basically,
that. So it's just too confusing.
What I'm trying to say, Gusman, is Super Rugby's only going to get more and more confusing. I just don't understand...
it's a weird time. We'll see what happens. Something I find interesting about George Gregan is he's played more times for Australia than he has for his club at Clubland for the Brumbies, which is very uncommon. But I guess it makes sense considering he played for Australia before he played for the Brumbies.
Yeah,
because the Brumbies. Yeah, how crazy is that?
This was a bloke
That is
who
very strange.
I'm pretty sure he was in his third 15.
What, at high school?
Yeah, at high school.
That's
something
amazing.
Like that. Might have been his
because
second
he went to school at like maybe St Edmunds in Canberra. I want to say. He was definitely in a Canberra school.
Imagine being that first coach and you
I'm pretty sure he's in his third 15.
George
but
Gregan.
they haven't got it right since they haven't got it right. But we keep seeing these stories. Jock Campbell played second 15 at TSS.
Dane Zander.
was in
his third 15 at Nudgee.
Angus Bryan played fifth.
and has gone on to start a mediocre podcast.
Yes.
So
yes,
really,
we love it. We love that.
Really, St Edmunds College.
Yeah.
Got it right.
Yeah.
UT. St Edmunds College, Canberra. Get your internal scouting right. But this happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing. But yeah, he's the GOAT.
World champion.
Obviously, world
99
champion,
as well.
99.
He was there
Can't go
famously,
wrong.
of course, in 2003 when Johnny Wilkinson lining up that kick with his wrong foot. He was
man.
one of the players who you will see as closest
Charging him
to
down.
Johnny Wilkinson. But yeah, absolutely fascinating.
Awesome.
Fantastic player, mate.
Yeah.
Again, another one of those guys who really transformed his position.
Yeah.
And
I
I think-
had a bath bag, like, you know how you have like a toiletries bag? I had one where it was like a football with a zipper on the top that had George Gregan's signature on it as a kid. That was pretty cool.
Fascinating. There you go.
Yeah, a little bit of fun factoid for you.
It was fun.
BTS trivia.
Anyway, gents, last one?
Yeah, let's get into some cricks.
Yeah, love a bit
because
of
you know we're out of
cricks.
season. Let's get
Yeah,
into cricks.
yeah.
Gus, who is your GOAT of Australian cricket?
Well, I mean, this guy's the
No
best.
surprises.
This is the best player to ever play cricket for Australia, Donald Bradman, and pretty much the world. No one's been a better player
He
than
couldn't even
Donald Bradman.
average a century average, mate.
Yeah, what rubbish,
Yeah,
mate.
What rubbish? 99.14.
Yeah,
What is that?
Useless.
Actually, you know the funny story about that. He actually only needed to score 4 runs in his last match, and he would have averaged over 100. And he got out for a second ball duck. Yeah.
Second ball duck.
Yeah,
So
that's a famous story.
I think
yeah. But 99.96 of 99.94. Of course.
94, wasn't it? Of
Yeah,
course.
it's 94. It's just amazing. Like and back in the day when they were playing on rubbish wickets. With those tiny bats that were like that,
Yeah,
that
thin as
thick,
all hell.
and you look at David Warner's kaboom, and
It's
it's like
a thick
it's like
boy.
that thick,
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wow, he can hit the ball so far. This guy, he didn't hit many sixes. What he
didn't.
did, he
Played along
worked
the
the ball.
grass.
Along the
Yeah,
ground.
he was a classic cricketer, and he's the best cricketer we will ever see. Steve's like, I hope not, but. It's going to be tough to
I don't
achieve
think-
anything more than
I
Donald
think
Bradman.
it's hard to judge because the generations are so different. And like technically, yeah, 100%. And you know
Yeah.
the training method with the stump with
Brad Boy.
the Brad
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. Shout out.
Shout out, yeah. But you know all those things, and you know for his time, he was just completely dominant. But in terms of pure skill, if you're looking at tape, you've got to say like someone else is better.
He's
Oh,
very
I-
traditional,
He's
Yeah,
very traditional.
obviously.
I think he definitely had the skill. Of course, yeah, you're talking about how he practiced with the stump and the golf ball. I mean, I tried that. It's near impossible. The guy's timing was impeccable. His shot selection was
doubt.
unbelievable.
He epitomizes Test cricket too.
Yeah,
As a Test
exactly.
cricket Batman.
A high score of 334 against England.
It's no Davey Warner against Pakistan.
Yeah, but I think he played. Was it New South Wales he played for? I think, or Queensland? I can't remember.
New South
But he
Wales.
scored well
He's
over.
from
He scored
Bowral.
well
He's from
over.
Bowral.
Yeah, he scored
Fun
well
fact.
over
South Australia.
400.
South
Yeah, he's
Australia.
from South Australia originally. I can't remember who he played. Yeah, they got a statue
there's a-
outside.
there's
I thought it was in Bowral.
There's a museum at Adelaide
Oh
Oval.
yeah.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
Which
But yeah,
is-
I think he scored well over 400 against Queensland on numerous occasions. They actually invented a way to stop Bradman called bodyline, which the English started up. They decided to bowl short and at his head, at his rib cage, and
These are in the days of
They-
no padding.
and the wickets were horrible, so the ball would go everywhere. They had no helmets. The gloves were pretty much like non-existent.
He's only 5'7".
and he still made hundreds. The guy still made hundreds, and like
he's from New South Wales. That's just Cootamundra.
Yeah, he's born. Yeah, he's born
He
in.
probably made his
Adelaide,
debut
though.
at it. Yeah, no, it says he was born in New South Wales.
Oh, was he?
Says
He
here.
must
Why is
have,
he going to
I thought he was born in
He
Adelaide.
could have grown up there.
Maybe. Anyway, but yeah, he's obviously the number one person you think about when it comes to go
he
to
is
cricket,
right?
especially in Australia and pretty much
Bowral.
the world.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, mate, I think someone who could challenge that in the future if he continues going the way he is. And I'm just going to close my computer here because this isn't going to be stats based, Faithful. This is going to be purely opinionated and reflection. I want you to use the next few minutes as well to cough.
I swear
And
that
also-
happens every single episode. You did that before asking a question to Tate last week. You went, and pardon me. So blah, 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 blah.
What's wrong with that? I need
It
to
happens
cough.
every time.
If I need to cough, I cough.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. It
Anyway,
happens
so
every week.
again, it's healthy. Well, constructive criticism.
You're just extending your airtime.
Yeah, basically. Basically, Faithful, if you look back on Stephen Smith over the last few years, he's just been in absolutely phenomenal form. I mean, you only look back at that Ashes last year, gents. If
Redemption.
it wasn't for Joffrey Archer and that bouncer, then he was absolutely on as the best in the world, hands down.
Yeah.
No question. And according to ESPN Cricket Info, because I got a good memory, he's turning 31 in just a handful of days. He's currently 30 years and 360 days at the time of recording.
Also, can I? Fun fact here: he is a Sydney Roosters fan. So, and so is David Warner.
No longer the GOAT.
And
No
so
longer the
so is David Warner.
So
Anyway-
cheats upon cheats, am I
Anyway,
right?
so Ricky, Ricky Ponting. So
and David Warner actually watches the games on his OLED TV.
On his OLED TV.
Yeah.
if I wasn't a cricketer, I'd probably still be at Woolworths. Good on you, Davey. His TikTok is not to be admired.
Don't.
Oh, it is
Don't
dreadful.
even remind
When
me.
they did the switch with his wife.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I will say this though, geez, that hairline is getting worse by the second. Anyway, the GOAT debate. You've got to also, geez, that's even worse, man.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned before that someone may be better, and this is who I was referring to.
No. Sorry, I was about to say the GOAT debate. When you mention that, you bring that up before we get onto that, mate. The sandpaper saga.
Yeah.
How much does that damage his legacy in terms of when it comes to that GOAT debate? Because his career, rightly or wrongly, depending on how much he was actually involved in reality, how much he was actually involved with that incident, his career is always going to be marred by that year suspension.
Certainly tarnished.
Yeah,
No
that's what I
doubt.
mean.
Yeah.
And even though to be honest, he's had a good crack over the last year at, rekindling those relationships, hasn't he? Well, not a year, isn't it? It's only a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, since, the ODI World Cup, the Ashes, he's really put that behind him. But when we look back at his career from a legacy and a history point of view, can we really cast aside what happened in Cape Town?
No, you can't. But
I think you
was it
can,
Cape
no.
Town? Was it
yeah,
Cape
it's
Town?
Cape Town.
Yeah, Newson's, wasn't it?
I mean, of course, you can't forget that. I mean, I don't think he was completely to blame.
I
He
don't
is.
think he
I
was.
don't,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
it-
he was to blame at all. I thought
He
was
is
just
the captain. No, he has to take some
Oh,
responsibility.
he'll take
as the
responsibility, but I
captain.
don't think responsibility and blame are different things.
This will come out in his biography, if that.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
20 years down the track.
captains are supposed to.
You take
still-
responsibility, but those are two different things.
Yeah, but that's
he can take. I would completely agree. If this happens under your tenure, you have to go
Go down with your
I
shit, mate.
The
apologize.
thing is, they've got to instill a culture in that side,
No
a
doubt.
positive culture, and I think.
I think it's Davey.
I might throw the coach under the bus here as well, but I think the coach
Just 'cause you're not a fan of him.
No, I'm not a fan of him at all. But
Boof.
I think his philosophy was win at all costs, and I think that was the same with David Warner
Yep.
and Cameron Bancroft. I think he was in
I
the
think
wrong
he was
place
a
at the
young-
wrong
he was a
time.
I think he's a
scapegoat,
young guy
But-
who was just, trying to fit in. And you can watch Fox Sports. I think he sat down with Gilly. And yeah, I think he was just a young guy trying to fit in, trying to prove his place in the team because maybe he wasn't batting as well as he should.
Yeah.
And he was opening at that stage, I'm pretty
Exactly.
sure.
And openers were so transferable back then too.
Oh, in that kind of mid to like that 2015 to even now. Now it's kind of more locked down a bit, but
Again, it's just interchanging every
It
year.
really is,
You
you
look
know.
back at some of the people who played for the Australian Test cricket team.
there's some average players.
Mate, 3
Petey
years
Hanscom.
ago, Hanscom, to be fair, his average at one point was on par with Bradman.
Madison.
What do you think of Marcus
Madison.
Harris?
Voges, who was a great player, but
Voges.
he wasn't an
He
opener.
actually
to be fair.
didn't do
He was
that
very,
badly.
He was very good, but again, he was never a long-term option.
Chris
Then he-
Rogers.
I was about to say who's the
I
bloke
love Chris.
with the glasses?
I love Chris Rogers.
Henshaw.
Yeah.
What's that?
Who?
Renshaw.
I thought you said
Sorry,
Henshaw.
I did say Henshaw.
Yeah.
That's because he's a rugby player.
Yeah.
I think Renshaw's a good player. I think
he'll have another
still,
shot. I know
still very
JL
young.
probably doesn't like him, but I think he'll have another shot.
Ferguson. What was his
Oh,
first name?
Cal Ferguson.
Cal Ferguson
Yeah,
got
plays
run
for
out
Sydney
for,
Thunder now.
for 2, never
Yeah,
played again.
Dreadful.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So let's go. So I'm talking about. I've done a bit of research on
we go.
Bradman.
Yeah, there we go.
Born in Cootamundra. That's where the museum is.
Yeah.
And he also grew up in Bowral in New South Wales. So I
Yeah,
don't know
so
where
he
you're
was-
getting this
so he was
Adelaide thing
born-
from.
I was there. I've been to it.
It's outside
I've-
the state.
I've
That's where he
been
made
there
his
as
first
well.
class
No,
debut.
at Adelaide Oval.
That's
there
where
is
he
a
made it.
museum where
That's-
you can simulate the
That's where he made
the
his-
golf ball.
Yeah, I think
stuff.
That's where he made his first class
I think he
debut.
definitely lived there though at some
He
point.
He
must have.
probably did. He probably played for them.
Anyway,
I don't know.
mate, we've moved on from Bradman.
Moving on
Tell
from
us-
Bradford.
tell
Let's
us
get
about
on to
your
the
man.
real goats, the goat of the party. And
Can I- wait,
we opened this with talking about the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance.
Who's your cricketer?
Shane Warne,
Ah,
Yeah.
Sultan of Spin.
Yeah.
The GOAT.
You either like him or you hate him, I guess. as well.
He's a figure.
He
He's
is.
a figure. He's a
He's-
character.
he's
Keith,
certainly-
good old Keith. Get around him. You cannot deny
Keithy.
the best Australian spin bowler of all time.
Look, that ball of the century will forever go down
I mean,
in the
he hit
history
a crack.
books.
Gucci.
But watching it, it's just like
Yeah.
complete.
Who was it?
different directions.
What's his first name? Someone
who
Gooch.
it was against?
Yeah, the batsman.
For some reason I thought it was against.
It was English. Graham Gooch was
was
the
it?
batsman. Yeah, and
He had a
I heard it,
against,
he commentated on that ball and he said I didn't even see it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
It's like What-
I would probably say he's the best spin bowler of all time, other than maybe like Murley, or I think Rashid Khan could be up there.
yeah. Thing
At
is,
some
he doesn't
point.
play for
Eventually-
Australia.
No, he
or
doesn't.
England.
He plays for Afghanistan, so he's not really going to have.
never gonna
he's
get
never
that-
going to play that many
Imagine-
international caps.
Morley was probably
Morley.
the closest, but
Yeah, definitely. But no, I would
He
definitely
chucked it
say
as well, so.
he was probably one of the best. He took
did you.
708
So do you.
wickets
yeah.
at Test level.
Yeah,
708
it's crazy.
wickets, which is crazy, in 145 matches. Pure domination. Got an
Yeah.
8 for, which is crazy in one innings.
Man, I love that story that I think Fox Sports were writing about it last week before about a few of the players wanting to wear their baggy greens to Wimbledon. And have you seen
Wow.
this about him going, no, that's just an absolute mockery of
Yeah.
what we do.
That's
Yeah.
a bit
So I
odd.
think there was is it Steve Waugh? Who was the Steve Waugh? No,
Mark Waugh,
Mark
Steve
Waugh.
Waugh.
was it Steve Waugh? I think it was Steve Waugh. Wasn't
Probably.
It? I don't know.
Yeah. I think
Mark
Steve
Waugh's
Waugh.
the worst.
Yeah,
of the two.
yeah.
He's
Anyway, yeah.
sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Mark. Sorry,
If you're
mate.
watching it out there.
Yeah. But he also
You know, can I just say one of the worst sledges against Mark Waugh? He was talking. It was I think it was on Fletch and Hindy. I saw this.
Probably.
But
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
someone
yeah.
said
is when they go into
sledge to
cages?
Mark Waugh. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's like, at least I'm the best cricketer in my family.
yeah, that was
and Mark
good.
was like, oh,
That's
God.
good. That's good. But Warney took 37 Michelles, as we've coined on the show. 37 Michelle Pfeiffers and 10 10-wicket hauls.
Yeah.
Which is just nuts.
Can I throw another player into the mix?
Yeah,
Ricky
go for it.
Ponting.
Ricky Ponting.
He
100%.
was my favourite player growing up.
Mm.
He had the
Watching Australia.
He had the Ponting rule growing up in Tassie, didn't he? Where I think
Yes.
he never got out, and it was they brought in the rule where if you scored more than 30, you have to retire.
Yep.
And I saw him comment on this. I think it was one of the Channel 7 cricket shows
Yep.
where he was talking about, okay, sweet, I'm going to go out there because I love batting so much. I'm going to go out there and just bat.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
not score
score,
runs,
just
just
block.
defend.
Yeah.
And then hit a single at the end of every over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that Ricky Ponting pull shot is the most iconic cricket shot.
So good. Along with like the Matty Haven like cover drive.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So good. But he like Warney, taking it back to bowling, like Warney has over 1,000 wickets. 1,000. Which is he's just nuts. And he had a fantastic debut as well.
Yeah.
From my memory. And he almost got 100 but then got caught on 99.
Yeah, he did. I can't
Against
remember who
England.
that was. It was against England, yeah.
It was pretty nuts. And he
And it was a no ball.
spewing.
Yeah.
Was too. Was he standing over the line? Oh,
Yeah.
spewing Warney.
No technology.
No, but
Too
it's
bad
like,
he was. It was a bloody character off
Wasn't
the
it
field.
against-
Oh, I
as
love
well.
I love
Was it against
the
England?
I love the zinc.
Huh?
Yeah, was it against England? I
think
thought
it was.
New
I think
Zealand.
so, yeah.
Could have been New Zealand actually.
Pretty sure
Could
it
have
was
been
New
No,
New
Zealand.
I think Glenn McGrath scored that 50 against New Zealand
Could be. I don't know.
because Glenn McGrath was a
There was a
terrible batsman.
There was a game, I can't remember, or there was a test, I don't know who it was against, but it was Dizzy Gillespie and Glenn McGrath at the crease, and they like the night watchman,
Yeah.
and they just batted for ages. I think they both got like a 50.
yeah, I think that was
Gillespie,
against New Zealand.
It was at the Gabba.
Gillespie
yeah, it
got,
was
a,
against New Zealand.
he got a double ton, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, and
Adelaide Strikers coach.
Yeah.
GOAT. But yeah.
Anyway, mate, there's certainly plenty of names in this discussion.
Certainly.
But let us know, Faithful, who you think should be the GOAT for these respective sports and even the sports that we haven't covered. DM us. It's a bit of fun for us because we don't get much messages anyway, but Campbell.
No, but yeah, well, you can message us on Instagram at _beyondthesidelines_. You can see us on Facebook. Swing us a message there at Beyond the Sidelines. You know, if you haven't found the podcast already, I mean, I've just mentioned the name 3 times in a row.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Listen.
Good on you. Stumbling along.
Nice ears.
Stumbling. Come on.
What?
Just listen to the podcast. It's called Beyond the Sidelines. Interact with us. Send us a DM. Who is the GOAT? Have we got it right? Is there someone we forgot? Does Andrew Roy Simons need a shout out? He always needs a shout out with the zinc around and the you bastard.
And shoulder charging that streaker, which was hilarious.
It was very hilarious. But thank you anyway. Boys, anything?
See you next week, gents.
See you next week.
I enjoyed this one. See you guys later.